Thank you, thank you. This is so much more than I've ever done in my life. Following that lady there, she's got me. But anyway, we started this I think just before COVID. We started the company just before COVID. And this is one of her favorite pictures of me. She thinks I'm praying. She thinks I'm praying, actually praying, just standing in front of Nana. But we got our name because there was a previous business. I had a delivery company called Coast One Couriers, and when we decided to do this thing, we were trying to figure out. And I was like, well, I still own all of the paperwork for Coast One Couriers. So we decided to name it Coast One Tours. It's been a ride. It's been a ride. Sometimes we have a lot of tours, sometimes we don't have very many at all. But I'm a historian in a way. I grew up a lot on American Beach. At American Beach, it's the only beach I've ever swam at, taken my kids to. It's the only beach I've ever known. And I spent a lot of time here because my sister was married to A.O. Lewis' great-grandson. And so I spent a lot of times here with him at the beach. I always said if I ever got a chance, I was going to buy a place here. And I was able to do that. I was able to buy a place here. I've had a couple of places here. But my mission, my hope is to keep the legacy going, keep the legacy of American Beach. It's such a unique story. It's a pretty long story, but it really has a lot of twists and turns to it. But I think it's something that really deep down in my heart, I think it's something that really needs to be carried on and on and on and on and on. We're in the process now of doing some pictures and some work to see if we can see if something should happen. You know, the story will be. I'm actually. My wife told me. She said, "You're actually picking up the baton from Marcia, Miss Marcia Phelps, who did these tours." There was really nobody else doing them. And I was like, "This is just too much." And I told her when I told her I used to do this. I used to do these tours for free. My friends would come from other places, and I would be like. Hey, get in the truck, man. We're gonna do some history. Then I got married. all the free tours and everything else went out the window. She's really kept me busy. But the story is so worth knowing and being kept going. I hate to ever think that something would happen to this, but you can go to the next one. That's one of our favorite pictures. That's us standing in front of Nana when we first got started. That's one of our favorite pictures. We did a lot of I did a lot of research, and I have my Bible here. This is my Bible. This is the first book written about American Beach by Marcia Dean Phelps, and this is what I lean on right here. So I'm still learning. I go to her house, we sit down and we talk, and she tell me all kinds of things. So this is still a learning process for me, even though I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. But this is still like a learning process to me. I enjoy telling the story. I enjoy when she does all the paperwork, and all that kind of stuff. But when I'm out, there's no other place I'd rather be than telling the story of American Beach and the whole island for that matter. Like I said, I was born during the Jim Crow era when we didn't go to Jacksonville Beach, Neptune Beach, and those other places. This is where my parents brought me. This is, like I said, this is the only beach I've ever come to, swam on. I almost told a lie and say fishing, but we went fishing not long ago down at Ponce Inlet, and I did fish on that beach. But other than that, this is the only beach I've ever. This is all I know. And I love this place. I love this beach. I love the island. This is, as we know, this is Nana. This is the tallest natural dune system in the state of Florida. And the beach lady, Marvine Betts, before she passed away, she named this dune Nana. It's got a special place in all of our hearts. The people who are close to American Beach, because we don't let anybody go up there anymore. Nobody goes up there but the turtles and the foxes and everything else. We don't let anybody on top of Nana. Like I said, I love the beach. I love American Beach. Every part of it. The people there are wonderful, and it's changing a lot. The beach is changing a lot, but the people, the newer people that are coming there are also history minded. They have some of the same feelings I have about American Beach. Once you find out about the history of it. Want to go? This is a marker at the north end of the island. Myself, Miss Phelps, and a lady from DC whose name was Ann Chin had a meeting with the Jacksonville Jaguars football team, and they knew that we did not have a marker to memorize the Middle Passage. So this is a Middle Passage marker. It's at the north end of the island at Fort San Carlos. We were going to have an unveiling, and right before the unveiling, COVID hit. So we had to postpone the unveiling. But then later after that, we had some friends of Fernandina, the American History Museum, and some more people made sure that we had that done. And we had a really nice unveiling of the marker. We must have had 300 people there. Ms. Marcia spoke, Dr. Janetta Cole spoke, and it was a great day for us. But if you ever get a chance, go to the north end of American Beach on White Street. Go all the way to the end of White Street, just before you go into the river, and you can see our Middle Passage marker. It's a marker and it's a bench. Ann Chin, I don't know, she's got to be 83, 4, 5 years old. She has made it her business to put a marker and a bench in all. There are 54 documented sites where slaves got off. We find there more than that now. But when we started this, there were 54 documented sites where slaves got off of boats directly from Africa, not from Cuba, not from Venezuela, or other places, directly from Africa to North America. 5 sites in the state of Florida. Right here on the north end of this island was the first site in the state of Florida where slaves got off of boats directly from Africa. And this is a marker commemorating that. It's really worth going to see. The bench is all. You can see a little part of the bench, but it's really worth going up to see and read that. Go ahead. This is our community center. Inside our community center at American Beach, there's a very small but very, very, very informative museum. You cannot get through it. It's very small, but you will not zip through it. It is so touching and so grabbing. It'll get your attention. This is the 90th year celebration of American Beach. American Beach was founded in 1935 by the Afro-American Life Insurance Company, and we're now celebrating the 90th year of the existence of American Beach. You'll get to read about Mr. Abraham Lincoln Lewis, one of the founders of American Beach, and one of the founders of the Afro-American Life Insurance Company. Long story. Florida's first African-American millionaire. The insurance company, the Afro-American Insurance Company, was the first insurance company in all of Florida. Any kind of insurance company in all of Florida. It was the very first. So if you get a chance to go to the museum, come to our museum, and go through it, and I guarantee you, it's very small, but you will not zip through it. It will definitely grab your attention. Everything in there. Okay. This is a part of Kingsley Plantation. Zephaniah Kingsley was one of the slave owners here, and he had tens of thousands of acres of property. He grew rice, the Sea Island cotton, indigo, but his main crop was sugarcane. And he was also a slave trader. So in the 1800s, he's in Cuba purchasing slaves. He purchases a 13-year-old African princess. Her name was Anna. He marries her. She became a part of his plantation. He passed away. Anna became plantation owner and an owner of some of his slaves. The building on the very right is the house that Kingsley lived in himself. The building on the left is the kitchen and storage area, and upstairs is Anna's parlor, because though they were married, she stayed in the parlor. She did not sleep with him. She did not sleep with him in that big house. But this is also a place straight up A1A. Before you get to the ferry on the right, it's there. The slave quarters that the slaves built for themselves are still in existence. And if nobody tears them down, they will be there forever. They were so well constructed. They will be there forever. And when you get there, you'll see some pictures of the actual slave families sitting out in front of these slave quarters. It's very worth your time. It's absolutely free. I think it's only closed 2 days, maybe Sunday and Monday. But it's absolutely free, and it is so worth going to see and going to read about some of the parts of Kingsley Plantation. Victor Green's Green Book. This is a book, I don't know how many of you people saw the movie, but as far as I'm concerned, the movie had very little to do with the actual book itself. This was a book where black people could travel through the United States before the end of slavery. They could travel and stop in places that would be safe for them. Restaurants, gas stations, hotels, places like that would be absolutely safe for them to stay. This guy Victor Green, he was a postman in New York, and he wrote this book. And I think I think the first one was 38, and then 47, 54, and 63. I think those were the years that he rewrote it, because things changed so much. There were new places to stop to. There were some places you could stop to that are now changed. You cannot stop to. So this is what Victor Green's Green Book was all about. American Beach was in the Green Book, but I don't know exactly what edition it was in. But one of the things about American Beach is it started in 1901. Actually, started in 1901. Started as the Afro-American Industrial and Benefit Association, which was almost strictly a burial association, because the slaves here would not be refrigerated when they passed away, so that people could come from other parts of the country to the funeral. So this guy, Abraham Lincoln Lewis, and 6 more guys, each all put together $100 apiece, and they founded the Afro-American Industrial Benefit Association, and that was from 1901 to 1925. Then the slaves could not get a mortgage, they couldn't get life insurance, so they went into those fields and they changed the name of the company to the Afro-American Life Insurance Company. And I think it was that until, I don't know, maybe mid-70s or 80s before they finally sold to Atlantic Life. But this is the Peck School. This is one of my favorite places on the island. It's where, until 1969, every black kid on this island, grades 1 through 12, went to this one school. They integrated in 1969, but it's not a school anymore. It's just an office. It's office buildings. There's a very small museum, very small but very informative museum in here. There's a very informative museum in there. You can go in and you can. What they've done is they've taped some of the old students, what school was like back then, and they've got it recorded. So you press a button and you can listen to these people talk about what lunch was like, what gym was like, what everyday life at the school at the Peck Center was like. A gentleman, Julius Rosenwald, who was president of Sears and Roebuck, one of the founders of Sears and Roebuck, decided that he was going to put educational equipment for black kids to learn. He put educational equipment or built buildings or helped to build buildings in 5,227 different places. He built some, this was one of the schools that he helped to build. he would. I think what he did was he went into neighborhoods and said, if you can get this part, I'll do this part, and I'll talk to the city council, the city, and see if I can get them to chip in. But that's how the schools were built. But he not only did he build schools, he sent black kids to great art institutes all over the country. One of them we know of is Augusta Savage. She's from Green Cove Springs, a little city just south of here. In 1939, she was summoned by the World's Fair to make a image of black music and what it was like. And it looked like, when she finished with it, it looked like a harp. She had the heads in there that were just one just a little bit higher than the other. But that was one of the students that he sent to Europe to, so the guy was he was a good friend of Booker T. Washington's, who was and until the day he passed away, he was on the board of Tuskegee. Tuskegee's a black school. Booker T. Washington was the president of Tuskegee, president and founder. And until he passed away, he was on the board of Tuskegee Institute. Just a I don't know, open-minded guy, and wanted to do some things good with his money. He had a lot of money. This is a little church on 17, just as you cross the bridge, the first red light is not 17. Old Nassauville. It's on Old Nassauville Road. I can't think of the name of it. Yeah. I've never been in it. I've never been there, but I don't know if they still have service there or not. But they saved it. They preserved that beach. I mean that building. They preserved that building, and it's got a marker in front of it, depicting what it was and the name of the church, and it looks like it might hold 10 people, maybe 10 or 12 people in there, but it's still there. It's another marker that's worth going to see. Go ahead, sweetie. We have a lot of people to thank. These are some of the people that we have to thank for the marker, because what happened was when we weren't able to unveil our marker, the museum, the chamber, let's go, BBT,
No, the Convention and Visitors.
Yeah, Convention and Visitors Bureau. They had a lot. They chipped in a lot of money to help us with this unveiling, and it was quite a success. It was very successful. What is that?
No, they did this too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. But that's pretty much my story. I'm just happy to be here. This is all kind of new to me. My wife has been pushing me into this thing. I got some friends with white hats who not doing me any help either. He's not doing me any good. But I guess I can just say, are there any questions now? Does anybody have any questions? Yes, sir.
I appreciate all your efforts in keeping history alive for sure. And when I look at the pictures of American Beach in the 30s, 40s, 50s, boy, does it look different.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez.
A lot of those houses are gone.
Jeez.
A lot of nice,
Yes.
big houses are there. So how do you envision American Beach looking as keeping the history alive?
We're going to lose a lot of it. There is no doubt about it. We're going to lose a lot of the history. Some people, some people come in and really don't care about architecture or what a house should look like. Or one of the examples I can say is John Grisham's place. John Grisham has a place on A18. He didn't build any palatial. He built something that looked like it belonged in the neighborhood. That's not what we're getting in American Beach.
Yeah.
That's not what we're getting. The few houses that are left, yes, dear.
Go ahead. I was just wondering, wasn't there a lot restriction at one time or something? How large the lots would be on American Beach?
there were all kinds of restrictions, but none of them had any teeth. I don't think people would come in and pretty much do what they wanted to do, no matter what the neighborhood wanted, or no matter what the laws were. They kind of came in and I guess you call it progress. I guess it ain't nothing I like. I tell you that. I don't like any of
May I
it. Yes, dear.
just add to her question? The lots were platted for 50 by 100.
50, but yes.
Most of them ran east and west for the ocean breeze. And there was a covenant on American Beach that Lewis wrote that didn't expire until 2000. So there were some rules.
There are now. I'm
Yes.
guessing
Under
there
the
are
county.
now.
County rules.
Yeah, well, yeah, they are now, but I still don't think anybody's really, people are coming in with money and they're like really, and another thing that happened is a year and a half ago, they finally bought the city water and city sewer in, and now people don't have to worry about septic tanks. So number one, the property just jumped up 3, 4, 5-fold of what it was actually worth. But you still got people with a lot of money who are willing to pay that 3, 4, 5-fold, and they're coming in and they're building just monstrosities. I think I would never do it. Yes, sir.
Okay, out on American Beach, you got that motel area.
Yes, sir.
Is that privately owned? It's not used as a motel anymore?
Yes, sir. It's privately owned. What has happened there is something has to change. It was built in 1950. And the lead paint and the asbestos has to be taken care of there. And we don't. The guy that actually owns the property is cantankerous at best. I know the guy. I've known him for a long time, and we don't have a. I don't have a clue. Maybe somebody here is closer to him. Does have a clue, but I don't have a clue what he plans to do with it. From what I understand, it's cheaper to tear it down and build anew than to try to. Because I had one guest, a guy was on the tour, and he was an engineer. I don't know how much he actually knew about it, but he said they were going to have to come in there and go down 10 feet, take all that sand out, 10 feet deep, bring new sand in. So we're not actually sure what he's going to do. Yes, ma'am.
What's the status of the rendezvous, sir?
The rendezvous is it's in the hands right now of the Trust for Public Land. We're still trying to raise money to well, I've heard a few stories. I'm really not. I kind of like not that close to what goes on. Yes, dear. Oh, he's somebody who might know.
The county owns, if I'm correct,
Custodian.
is the custodian of it. It was, I think when the original owners gave it to organization, and that organization gave it to the county as the guardian.
Trust for Public Land purchased the property. The county is the custodian. There is grant money that has been used to renovate the exterior to protect it from the elements. There is still grant money and other monies that the county is custodian of to complete the interior. So we're still in the process of raising money, but it will be renovated. There is a summary coming up sometime. It's July, is it August?
That's correct.
Yes, it's July, August, I think.
It's July 18th,
July
it's a
18th.
charrette, the Main Street
So-
preservation.
We will hear the final words. You'll hear the final words.
Well, the
Guys, you can listen to
challenge
these
is- I
people.
was gonna
These
say,
people know a lot more about American Beach than I do. They know a lot more about
the
it than I
challenge is, what it should be, okay? American Beach, which a lot of people don't understand, it is the only, community that aligns the beach that people can drive drive to the beach through, number one. Everybody else has walkovers, okay, and they're all gated. So we're also the only non-gated community, okay? So, if, in terms of, just an example, if you want to have Evans be a party venue, well, it's not like other party venues where it's not in the middle of a neighborhood. And so whatever happens there impacts everything around it. So it's, what the community, we have year-long, meetings, town halls. And at the end of that, what the community wants is for it to be a cultural arts center and a study of oceanographic study. FAMU, which is Historical Black Colleges, has an excellent program, and to also be a place where artists would come and work and also study, and some kind of, smaller venue for a gap, but not a party function. So if you read a recent article, Amelia Island is now designated as one of the #1 places to come. And so the goal is to bring people, and they have ways to bring people. So we're hoping that we can maintain the character and some of the integrity, because you can't stop change. We're not crazy.
The history.
Yeah, but history will live.
Yeah.
Because the streets are the history. If you've been there, the streets are named after individuals. I think it was a brilliant, to show he was a visionary. And it's all called American Beach because it's never been exclusive. Like in my exercise classes, sometimes I'm usually on a little chocolate face, and people say, "Oh, can white people be on American Beach?" I said, "Well, white people can always be on American Beach. Your Jim Crow laws kept y'all off, and is why we exist." So people, oh right, so when people hear like it's a black resort, actually it was the first resort on the island, not Omni. Omni celebrated its 50th, and we're celebrating our 90th.
Yes, sir.
Kind of in keeping with that, there might be a plan for cultural arts, which sounds great, a great way to bring in a lot of interest and funds and everything else. I heard that there used to be like certain musicians and celebrities and
Yes,
different
at the
people
rendezvous, yes,
who used
yes.
to come visit.
Yes,
American
Cab Calloway,
Beach,
Louis
play
Armstrong.
American Beach.
Yes.
Like, I'm assuming that's kind of. the things
Everybody
that's gonna be
everybody play,
tapped
a lot of people played it. Cab Calloway, Louis Armstrong.
Who? Neil Armstrong, who else?
Louis
They couldn't stay at the same hotels that they were playing.
Right.
They would come stay at American.
Yeah, exactly. Hank Aaron was here. Joe Lewis, one of Mr. Lewis's businesses was he had the first black golf course in Jacksonville. Joe Lewis, when he wasn't boxing, was playing golf. He came here a lot. Joe Lewis came here a lot. From what I understand, they were pretty good friends. Cab Calloway, Louis Armstrong. Yes, ma'am.
Is American Beach incorporated?
Is it incorporated?
Incorporated.
It's unincorporated. It's unincorporated. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's something to think about.
Yes, sir. Again, yes, sir.
Going back to the Peck High School, you intrigued me when you said that was started, money was given by the Rosenwald.
Julius Rosenwald, yes, sir.
Who was the founder of,
Season Robert. Or Season, yes.
was he a black man?
Yes, sir.
No.
He was Jewish. He was Jewish. He was Jewish.
Actually, Tuskegee, Washington approached him and talked to him about joining the school. And it made sense to, Roosevelt. I think the persecution from Jewish people and all right, he had a sympathy and understanding, enslavement and the need, for education. So I couldn't Booker T. Washington because he founded Tuskegee. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, speaking of Peck, I spent part of my early childhood here. We moved when I came back for high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated in '73. I suppose I got integrated
Mhm.
time, but as a high school student from somewhere else, I was surprised at how few black students were at Fernandina High. And so I'm asking to check out an assumption that I might have made, and that was, what I'd always heard is that Well, if you weren't college material or academic, there was like a vocational school that you went to, and that was Peck. And that turned out to be, that's where a lot of black people were got designated. And that's what I kind of heard and grew up knowing. Was that true or not?
This is my show here. But I got some help. See that guy back there with the straw hat on? Stand up, sir. Stand up. Stand up. One of our historians, one of our real historians. Well, these people are my Bible. The people that you're here talking now are the people I go to.
Well, that's why I'm asking. I want to make sure I got the right idea.
This guy will be able to help us.
Well, I graduated from Peck in 1959. I attended Peck. I started Peck in the second grade. I went to St. Peter Claver Black Catholic School at 6th and Calvin, kindergarten and first grade. We had to walk. I grew up in Old Town. If you know where Old Town is, my family, the Treyarch family. We had to walk to school. So at the time, the public bus began to take kids to Peck. So either I had to walk to St. Peter Place or take the bus to Peck because they wouldn't drop me off. That's why I wound up going to Peck. But Julius Rosenwald, according to part of the history of it, and it's debatable, I have different things, he put up, it cost $59,000 for Peck to be built back in 1927. Wow. That's what the mark was. Wow. He put up $2,000 and the people in front of him raised the rest of the money. Wow. Professor Peck was there when I attended, but before Professor Peck, we had Professor Payne. Both of them came from
Howard.
Professor Peck went to Howard. Payne, I'm not sure what school he went to, but they both attended a boys' school, I think in Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm correct. That's where they attended. And for some reason, I want to think that Julius Rosenwald and Booker T sent them here to establish the school. Professor Payne died of the yellow fever in the 1890s. The other Peck, it wasn't Peck School, the schoolhouse number 1 was up on the north corner of 11th Street, right by the water tower. It looked like a big rooming house. At the time, I've seen a drawn picture of it, never a copy picture of it. But that, I can't imagine you can imagine what the wages was back in 1920s when they built the school, how they raised money, and how they raised the $39,000 to get Peck completed. But it was not. You said a trade school. Well, we didn't get a wood shop until I was in school there at Peck. The first wood shop teacher was Mr. Holliday, whose son owns property, not exactly on American Beach, but on A18 next to the fruit stand there that closed up. That property back there, a couple of acres or more. His son owns that. He was the first wood shop person that I experienced.
So it was never a
Designated school.
That's not actually correct.
I mean,
It was for the way the school was utilized by the community during the night was for returning veterans as
I haven't met that
yet.
But that came later.
Right, that came later.
That came after the Second World War when a lot of people back then, a lot of our parents couldn't read and write, so they went to war. After the Second World War, the GI Bill came in and they had school teachers that teaching at Peck at night. I remember that Professor Jones' wife started. We had Miss Matthews. We had Miss a couple other teachers, Miss I can't remember the name, but they started that after the Second World War. Right? The guys went to war and they still couldn't read and write. They went to war and they fought. White and blacks fought together in the Second World War. When they came to Fernandina, the white soldiers went to Fernandina High School and the black soldiers went to Peck High School. That came much later after Peck High School.
Did it stay a school after 1969, or what happened?
They used it because there was an overflow, and I hate to use the term the white school, but a lot of the students, like T. Ray and his wife, they attended Peck High School. Your congressman, Aaron Bean, attended Peck High School. They told me this themselves because they had an overflow from that. My cousin there, she was the first black at Fernandina High School, sitting right there when he married.
I was in the class
that was forced to go to Fernandina Beach.
In '69?
In 1969.
1969? Yes, sir.
Peck became a principal, and he died in 1950, Professor Peck. And when he stepped down as principal, Professor Payne and I, and when Professor Peck took over, we had another short-term principal, and then we had our first female principal, white or black, in the county, was Miss Thurston. So Professor Peck went to Howard University, and he served Peck, and he's well respected. He had a big house right across from what you made, the steakhouse there, on the corner of 8th and,
Bob's.
David's.
He had a big Victorian style home equal to the one behind it.
Williams House.
But his wife, Miss Mariah Peck, who grew up in Old Town, and she used to call me cousin, how we were kin, I don't know. but naturally when he died, she didn't have the income to afford, so one of the grocery stores bought the property, and the house was moved, and they chopped it up and made it a rooming house, so several school teachers stayed in the house. You wouldn't recognize it now as Victorian style, but it's on the corner of 9th and Cedar. It's on the southwest corner of 9th and Cedar. And Miss Mariah Peck was a wonderful lady, and she did what she ran the cafeteria at Peck really good.
Okay, we got one more question, and then we're gonna kind of close it up a little bit. This young man was first. No, this young man with the.
I grew up here, and I'm very honored to be part of the culture of Peck and growing up. It goes back to the plantations here and my Oglethorpe. I graduated in 1967. We were separated. In 1964, we were integrated. I think I can name the names that came here today. I still have relationships with today. It wasn't my fault. It wasn't my fault. But you have to remember a Chinese family coming in. Where do you put a Chinese family? The question was, do you put them in a white school or a black school? And it went into the Catholic school, and they were part of me. We have that today. Where do you put them? And I ask you to come together and think about that. Growing up, I hate segregation. I still think right now we can come together and build a community that remembers our heritage, both black and white.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one more.
I was curious, can you tell us a little bit about your company? How much does it cost? What are your hours?
Okay.
Where do you go?
Okay, let me say this. First of all, thank you for all the questions and all of you for attending, and thank you more so, honey, for taking on this task. Because and he is a lovely, lovely man, but this is something he doesn't like to do, but he is our true historian, and we want to continue the legacy of this area, the Black history that we have. Now, Ron talked about a lot, and if you notice the slides were not all American Beach. They were not all the Middle Passage. They were not all the Peck Center, because there's so much more. We are in the corridor of the Gullah Geechee area, and that marker that's out there talks about that. So what we do for our business, we actually take people, and it's a riding vehicle, it's air conditioned, very nicely done, and we take you around the island from the south end to the north end, and we talk about these key places that are there. Now, this particular church, God bless my husband, is actually over by the Episcopal Church. It was off of Atlantic and 11 or 9? 9. Atlantic and
the church name is Good Shepherd.
Good Shepherd. And it was destroyed, and they actually built another center right on the side of it, and it was burnt up and fired. So all we have now is a marker, because I've had so many people ask me where this church is, and it's no longer existing. And there are some other things that we talk about. St. Peter Claiborne is a picture of it in here. Bryant's Academy. When this publication was printed in 2022, okay, there's still some markers that did not get in this publication that's on American Beach. They're in the process of redoing this one, revising it, and I've already brought out some of these locations that need to be included in the new book. And I have a connection with them. Several people have asked me why I have this badge on my chest. I am a proud graduate of the first inaugural class of the ambassadors for the city of Fernandina Beach. So I wear this with a lot of pride. Thank you. And in addition to that, our tour is very I mean, we cover so much, but we can only do so much. It's approximately an hour and a half to 2 hours. And we talk about even the Omni and how they took over that part of American Beach. And that, we can't get everything in because we have a section across Sattler, and I think it's called Bonneville, where the Hoopers are. We have the area, we just have so much in this 13 point so many mile island that you can't capture it in one day or one tour. So we wanted to give you a good grasp of it. If you go on our website, information is on there about our tours. We do them 365 days a year, except when we go visit our grandchildren or we take a vacation. So I just want you to know we do have a life, and we only do it in the morning hours. I wanted to also make a comment about the fact that Dr. Beverly Davis mentioned American Beach was never designed just for black people. And if you notice our attire, our coloring on it doesn't have the African colors on it because we want you to know everyone is welcome to come on our tours, to see our history. Even if you live here, there are things that Ron will point out to you that you never thought was there. We ride by things. We taking people on tours. We ride by and we point out something. I never saw that. I never knew that. You know, and that's why we do the tours. Matter of fact, we have some guests that came all the way from Savannah. I'm gonna call them out because they took the tour and they have stayed in touch with us, and they were so surprised. And Savannah has a rich black history too. So for them to come down here to support us, we really appreciate it. So if you'll go on our website,
I have a question. And talking to black folks who probably running into them, like at 4th Street Deli, outside
my place.
They said that 8th Street used to be all black businesses, and
I've heard there is a large portion of it that was black, but I can't say that it was all black. And even downtown.
Stand up, son.
I can't say.
Stand up.
I don't know.
This is my go-to. He and Marsha Phelps are the people.
I said it was 8th Street. I was told that 8th Street was primarily black businesses at one time, all the way down.
Not necessarily black, but primarily black. From 5 Points all the way in. 5 Points growing up,
Right.
up where the beaches diner is, there was 5 Points there with no red light. Everybody come there, and that's how you went. I remember when they built 14th Street. 14th Street didn't come from Beach Street all the way out.
What is 5 Points?
5 Points is where beaches diner is.
What's Sattler and 8th Street? Marsha talking about the Amelia
Yeah.
And I just, I want to conclude with letting y'all know that I am getting so much history now that we have been in business for a while that I cannot put a whole lot of this information in his beautiful, handsome brain. So what we're going to do is start a newsletter and information, because as I have dealt with Mike Kegler, Neil Frank, and the Jones, and everybody else that's involved in this area and have family here, Marsha, it's just coming out. A lot of information. The first, considered the second Houdini, the Hoopers, you know, and they still have family that are descendants that are here. So what I'm saying to everybody is that if you would like to get some information, it's in draft now. I have a draft newsletter that I'm trying to get out by the middle of the month. If you'll sign up on my sign-in sheet, and if you want to ask any further questions, please stay around for a little while afterwards and we can talk about it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know what type of questions we were going to get out of this presentation we have, but I am so thankful. I am thankful that we have several historians that are here to answer and address this. Let's give them a hand too.
I just wanted to give a shout out. I'm Peggy Boltron with Warner Museum here, and I'm kind of in charge of the Heritage Keepers Project, which is something that I just hearing all the little snippets going on. We are actually doing some workshops to train people how to take oral histories. They go into our archive. We have a really wonderful archivists.
Yes,
And you can, and these things go up online, you can hear them. And I think that would help your business.
Yeah.
Because you can, straight from the horse's mouth.
Thank you.
So if you're interested, just call the museum and either give your name to Theo or Isabel that you're interested in knowing how to collect or give your store.
And one last thing, the Bartram Trail, you know, this is a part of that Bartram Trail corridor, and I'm involved in that too. So just to let y'all know that it's a lot of things going on in our community that we all need to know and be aware of. But thank y'all so much.
Mr. Frank.
Huh?
You have to.
That means I got something else to say. Yeah, we do, Neil. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Okay.
That's the answer.
My friend Ms. Parker, you don't know she's a product of the Library of Congress.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But right now, you're all sitting on a pile of history.
Yes, right.
This was the Nassau County Jail, Sheriff Youngblood, during my time. When American Beach was in full bloom, there was an anchor fence around this whole park. And you come here on Monday morning and you look out, the jail was full, and on the lawn, you saw nothing but black people. Coming from American Beach, because if you had a bottle in your car and the police stopped you, that's where you were detained and you would come in there and let you out. And I was told back in the day that those friends of Sheriff Youngblood that had, they used to do a lot of the pine trees, the sap, I don't know what they call it now. Well, people that had those farmings that were around, if someone's friend needed help, they would like to go and help them and bring you back. So this was very much a part of the history of Nassau County. Sheriff Youngblood, and we didn't.
I'm sorry. I didn't know we had until 1. I thought it was only 45 minutes. I apologize to
For some people, for some people he was good. He was bad. What happened to me one time, we had the first black deputy sheriff here since Reconstruction. We had one far back before that. I forget his name. I had in my little junk box at home. But was named Jerry Maddox, and he was killed on duty. And then we had Telfield. So one night I was coming from driving a person. I was a chauffeur for a lot of people that drink. I didn't drink. And around here, I give you the license at 15. But you could drive even before that. If they knew you, they wouldn't bother you. They wouldn't stop you. But anyway, they stopped me, and the deputy sheriff was surprised to see I was driving and not the owner. And he wanted to buy up for some other reason, which I won't say. But he said, "I want to give you a citation. You go talk to Sheriff Youngblood," which I did. I came down here. He saw me. He didn't call me in the back. He said, "Neil Frank, if your daddy knew you were speeding on the highway, you know what he do to you? Go back home." But for some people he was good. A lot of people he was bad. And one other thing about it, we had a band in school. Lawrence, he died. He was with his brother. They had a band. I think they called themselves the Jive Five. They used to play for a lot of the white students, and the white students had a lot of parties that we call the Jetty Lodge. It's located there at Fort Clinch. And so my friend's mother got a call from somebody saying, I don't like using the N-word, if you so-and-so go out to Jetty Island, what we gonna do to you, what we gonna do to you, this, that, and the other. So she got excited. She called Sheriff Youngblood. He came to the house. He said, "You get them ready." He said, "Nobody gonna come to this town and disrupt my friends and my families." He said, "You get them ready." And they escorted the band to the Jetty Lodge, Sheriff's Department, and brought it back home safe.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.